after 4 years being 24, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first full-time person in the history of the sport, full-time for 4 years. And then my wife came full-time. But and after 4 years, I can tell you guys, every country is different. They see soccer and they see golf in a different way, and the economy is different. Everything is different. So trying to again unify the entire planet with a sport which is a hybrid sport, which is new, there is not a manual about how to run a national organization. We are writing the manual as we go.
What's up, golfers everywhere? Welcome back to the Pace of Change Golf Podcast. Are you ready? We do it fast, we make it fun, so turn it up and enjoy part 2 of the Pioneer Life with AFGL founders Laura and Roberto Balestrini. Hey guys, this episode of the Pace of Change podcast is brought to you by one of our affiliates, strikingly.com. What is strikingly.com? Well, it is the website platform that I have used for several years now. I was one of the first adopters of their platform. But what is it? Well, you can build beautiful websites in minutes, no coding and knowledge required. Strikingly is absolutely the best website builder for anyone who wants to build gorgeous, mobile-friendly, responsive websites easily. They're quick, simple, and stylish. You can start for free today, and when you figure out you love it as much as I do, you can upgrade. They have simple pricing plans on the cheap. I've used this for at least 7 or 8 different websites that I've built, and I always get incredible feedback. It's not really what I'm doing, it's just how amazing their platform is. It's really simple to use, like I said. You can check it out in the show notes. Head over to our website, paceofchange.com, and click on the affiliate link there. Anytime you do that, you're going to be helping out the Pace of Change podcast as we seek to continue to bring you groundbreaking podcasts about this revolutionary and evolutionary journey the game of golf is on. So thank you for doing that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of the Pioneer Life with American Footgolf League founders Laura and Roberto Balestrini. That's right, last week we focused on the history of footgolf leading up to Roberto's auspicious discovery of this new and exciting hybrid sport while he was surfing the TV back in 2011, just 4 short years ago. But Roberto sees the window of opportunity and jumped headfirst into his role as pioneer of footgolf in the U.S., and he's doing a bang-out job. And it hasn't always been an easy road for Roberto and Laura, and certainly the idea of giving up has crossed Roberto's mind more than once. But with his wife Laura by his side, as you'll hear here in part 2 of the Pioneer Life, Roberto focused on taking maximum advantage of the opportunities that presented themselves. And then he trusted the attraction to the sport would inevitably draw mass appeal. And it is definitely doing that now. Starting with 4 courses in 2012, the Balestrinis tirelessly promoted the benefits of bringing footgolf to golf course operations and built strong relationships with course owners and operators as they invested literally every penny traveling across the U.S., introducing golf courses to footgolf. Now, as of the time of this interview, it's December 2015, the AFGL has over 450 affiliate courses in 49 states. This week, we'll focus on the future of footgolf. We'll bring Laura into the conversation. We'll talk about the upcoming World Cup in Argentina. We'll talk about rules and some really exciting news about the future that I'm not going to spoil right here and now. You're just going to have to listen. So, without further ado, enjoy episode 4, part 2 of The Pioneer Life with American Footgolf League founders Laura and Roberto Balestrini.
Do any of the golf courses rent foot golf balls?
Laura, let me introduce you to Scott and Dude.
All right, so yes, the courses rent out the soccer balls, and usually they sell them for or rent them out for $3 to $5, and they can make a significant amount of money on that. I mean, it sounds like a little amount, but if you're a busy course, that can add up quickly. And a perfect example is one of the courses over in by Myrtle Beach. On it, he said he got to looking at his soccer balls and they had literally blown through the soccer balls. And so he was like, wow, that's only been about 4 or 5 months. This could get kind of expensive here. And so he really hadn't been paying any attention to what the revenue was. So he went in to check the revenue from the soccer balls because he wanted to know, if it was worth it to buy a new set. And he said, I had a shame of riches. He said, I had made $29,000 in soccer ball rentals and didn't even realize it.
In what time period?
Hold on, and how much do they rent the ball for?
For $3. So,
wow, and over what time period was that?
That was like 5 or 6 months he had done that.
Holy smokes.
Have you guys found on the more popular foot golf courses that they've started to offer foot golf equipment like soccer balls or shoes or apparel? Have they started, dedicating footprint, space in their pro shop to foot golf related equipment?
Yes, we're starting to see that is one of my biggest questions from our past courses now is I'm getting phone calls saying, especially this time of year when they're thinking about stocking the pro shop for next year, they're calling saying, okay, I need to talk to you about socks. I need to talk to you about, shirts. I want logoed items. And so, because the statistics are that foot golfers spend as much in a pro shop as a golfer does. All right, so you will see this spring a whole lot of foot golf equipment coming into the pro shop.
And I know you guys are working with, in partnership or in sponsorship with Adidas. Mm-hmm. Is there a foot golf shoe yet?
Well, I think there will be. That is one of their goals is that they will look at designing a foot golf specific shoe for 2017.
Wow.
That's our sad part. I mean, we're really excited about that, but
And we need it for 1996.
Yeah, it can't come fast enough, huh?
Yeah, on it, but that's kind of their production schedule. But they're going to be doing a test of some merchandise into some of the pro shops this spring, kind of get a feel for what the look is of the foot golfer and what they need to be designing that's more trendy maybe and more specific for foot golf. So it's going to be an exciting process to see.
Yeah, because let's say I remember when I started, I say, okay, the shoe for the foot golfer has to be shoe with that will protect your foot very well. Maybe with some kind of a protection on top of the shoe and here and there, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was talking to a foot golfer and I say, okay, what is the perfect shoe for you? And he say, if I will be happy if I can play barefoot. I say, what? Yeah, because I can feel the ball better. I can give a better touch to it. So now the Nike Hypervenom is the one they are using, and until we have the Adidas one that is going to be created specifically for foot golf or whatever. But the same thing with the soccer ball. The soccer ball is right now is the most famous soccer ball, which you can buy that on eBay for $400 because it's discontinued. It's the Speed Cell, the Adidas Speed Cell 2011, especially the Argentinian version and the German version. And then some people use the Habulani that was they used that in 2010 in South Africa. But the soccer ball and the shoes are the most important part here.
And that's actually pretty exciting, I would think, to know that, different foot golfers have different preferences for what they want to be wearing, because that just lends itself to having, a line of foot golf shoes that can eventually be offered. Right. And as well as the soccer ball, I know that there's one kind of restriction, which is the size of the soccer ball, which has to be between, I think, was it 58 and 60 centimeters or 68 and 70 centimeters? Is that right?
68 and 70,
it's
right?
Standard size 5 FIFA ball. As the sport develops, I think we're going to be seeing a ball developed specifically for foot golf. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, part of the conversation with Adidas was, they were interested because they do golf balls on it. So, is there certain aspects that we would, be looking for a ball to do? Maybe there's some technology that could go into it. And so, but remember, this is an international sport. So as things develop, we've got 35 country members now that are all going to have a say as to whether, what's conforming equipment and what's non-conforming equipment. And so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the rule is at this point that they must play with the same ball throughout the tournament, mm-hmm. but they are allowed between holes to adjust the air in it.
Oh, wow.
And I guess that's why you guys say in the rules that the ball has to start at a certain size.
Right.
But not necessarily, I guess, finish at that size.
Well, and I mean, just because they're kicking so much more than you really do in a soccer game, the ball, can lose air during play. So they've got to be allowed to pump it in between and stuff. But, there may come the day where they're carrying 3 different soccer balls, because there's one that they like as a driver and there's another one that they like for putting. And we'll see. I mean, I think if I'm correct, right now in golf, you have to play the same ball unless you lose it, right?
You do, but like Scott said, in disc golf, you can switch frisbees between shots.
One thing I wanted to ask you guys was about the rules, because, as speed golfers, we adhere to the rules set forth by Speed Golf International. And I had the opportunity to be their executive director in 2014. They had already created the rules at that time, but it's really a general set of rules. It's essentially the USGA rules of golf plus about 4 or 5 specific rules for the sport of speed golf. And then I go look at the rules of foot golf, and it is very specific. So I have a couple of questions. Number one is, at what point did you guys really dig in and decide we need to go all the way with the rules of foot golf? And can you talk about that process a little bit?
Yeah, the rules of foot golf were based on the rules of golf. And when we first started talking about doing the first World Cup in Hungary, we knew that there needed to be rules. And the Hungarian Association had offered to organize the first World Cup, and they had a very close relationship with golf on it and one of the golf courses there. So they actually sat down with the people from golf and said, we need to create rules for foot golf. What rules of golf can we transform into foot golf, and what do we need to change? So the challenge was everything was in Hungarian.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
They even wrote English with Hungarian accent, especially my friend Gabor Gelenser.
So, Gavor and his sister Ildiko had these rules. They both know English, but they said, we've got to get this to where at least everybody has an understanding of them in English for the first World Cup. And so we went back and forth and just tried to do a very rough translation so that they had something, because we had a very short amount of time. Then the rules got reviewed again in...
We did it, and at the end, we start in September, October 2013, and they were finished and printed by end of January, February 2014.
Yeah.
And how many people are we talking about had their hands in the process here?
There were 12 countries that, it was the board of 5 of us that went through them. But then there were certain, we put it out there to the country members at the time, which was 12. So, but now, honestly, they're ready for a rewrite again on it. At this World Cup, I know there will be a general meeting, and, that's will be one of the topics discussed is, what in the rules do we need to look at again?
This is a very interesting process for us in particular, because speed golf is sort of in the same place in its evolution. Mm-hmm. And we have some of the same issues. So I guess what my question is do you need to rewrite them because events happened in the last World Cup or whatnot that weren't addressed in the rules, or there's new equipment, or?
I think yes.
All of the
above. I think that, and that's from what I understand from what golfers tell me is why golf's rule book has gotten so huge over the years, is there was a specific situation that happened that somebody needed to make a call on, and then it got written into the rule book on it. So, I laugh with the course operators now on it, and the PGA professionals and stuff that go, oh, well, at least your rule book, isn't 480 pages long. And I say, oh, just wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not yet.
You're working on it.
And it is called evolution. The sport, it's called evolution. One thing is for sure, that something is going to change. So you have to be flexible. And then you say, oh, we can do this or that, or you know what? You start paying attention to details. Like I remember on the first Pro-Am tour that we did at the Crystal Spring Resort in Hamburg, New Jersey, Christian Otero, which is, we understand, if not the best, one of the best players in the world. To me, I think he's the best in the world. Christian, I remember hole number 1. There was an elevated tee. And Christian got there for practice day. And I got a call and say, Roberto, I need to talk to you right now. What's going on? This is ridiculous. This is a joke, right? Tell me that this is a joke. And say, what happened?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Where do you play? Come on, in the Buckingham Palace? What? Come on. And I got to hole number 1. And I say, Roberto, come here. What do you see? The hole was down there, how many yards? 150 yards, even more, down there by the sand trap or whatever. So what do you see? I say, I'm sorry, I don't get it. And he says, you know what? Look, this is an elevated tee. Your hole is down there. Pay attention. If I kick the ball or your wife kick the ball will come to rest in the exact same point. So now you have to tell me why I spent $5,000 to come here. I did 12,000 miles and trained for 6 months. If it doesn't matter if I kick the ball or your wife kick the ball, we're going to get Okay, my good friend R. Walton, the vice president of Crystal Spring Resort, decided to name hole 1 hole Christian Otero. We had to change it, but you see, we learn from the players.
Yeah, it just seems to me like foot golf is at a stage where y'all have this delicate balance that you have to walk between. You're still learning so much, and yet you want to have your guiding hand on the steering wheel, especially here in the USA, but also as a part of the larger international organization. And, can you guys talk a little bit about that in terms of that kind of that line that you have to walk between wanting to be able to guide the sport forward, but yet at the same time needing all of that input and needing to listen sometimes more than talk?
Yeah, it's
Well, that's not my case. I only can talk.
No, and it's you're right. It's very, very difficult because there are people who jump on this sport for the wrong reasons on it and who quickly want to become some type of an authority with it, because they're going to see themselves as being professional course designers or professional consultants, or all of these different things, and so they're eager to make their footprint, and they don't really care about the integrity of the sport. So that's a really hard part on it, is to, like you said, to really try to guide it to go in the right way and not let it get stepped on, because I feel like we are at a very crucial point with the sport where it's getting known and everybody's starting to look at it, but what image are they going to have of foot golf? I mean, every cent we make turns around and goes back into creating a level of play that is competitive, so that not just for the players, but so that operators can see when they're bringing this sport into their course that it's legitimate. I think my greatest satisfaction was when we went to the PGA Village and we played the Pro-Am there. They had asked for volunteers of the club members there for the foot golf tournament, because we needed 15 or 20 volunteers out there on the course. And they had an excellent turnout, like 27 volunteered for it. But when I seen the 27, I was laughing to myself, because I said, I'm sure they volunteered because they wanted to know what to complain about to the board as to why foot golf should not be there.
Oh my gosh.
all so cute. I think the younger was like a 78.
But to watch the transformation of these people over the 3 days, to where I swear on the final day, they were looking to do selfies with the players. They wanted anything that said foot golf on it to get their hands on it.
I love it.
I think that story is very instructive about some of the problems that golf is having that we've already covered, and that, there is this sort of overly protective element in the golf community that is resistant to change, resistant to any new ideas. And yeah, I can definitely, I mean, I can see the picture you painted was perfect.
Number one, guys, the golfers, they are very protective because it's their territory. I mean,
yep.
You see a bunch of guys over there, but I always, I told you guys that I love the course operator more than anyone in the golf industry. Those are my guys, the superintendent, the course operator, people that really, they work for other people to have fun there. Okay? But when somebody says something, I went to a golf course, and when I see those kids running or whatever, I don't blame the kids because they never been in a golf course before. Mm-hmm. I blame the course operator because you have to manage your activity. You have a new activity. It requires management. Okay, you have
a swimming pool. You hire a lifeguard.
Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly.
You have a person that came for really first time to a golf course. You have to sit with him. We have an instructional video. That person has to watch the video, or you have to do like they used to do in Haggy Knox, that they walk for the first 3 holes, or they walk to the practice hole and say, you know what? No, wait a minute. Don't be loud on the course, please. Please do not run after you kick the soccer ball. You know what? Keep the level low. Watch for golfers. Oh, by the way, if the client is a millennial, you know that on Friday evenings we have happy hours, we have live music or whatever. You see the other activities. If it's a kid, you talk to the mother and or to the father and say, you know what, on Sunday evenings we have golf clinics for kids. So if you play 5 times, you have a free golf lesson. It's not
what a great idea.
Yeah, guys, we have to support the game of golf. Okay, so people say, they call us and say, okay, we want to do a standalone custom-made foot golf course. Say, okay, good luck on that one. Why? For many reasons. Number one, in my case, sport has to be played in a golf course. Number two, how do you think in a million years you are going to have enough traffic to pay for the maintenance? Players, they like to go to a nice locker room. They like to have a clubhouse. They want the fairways looking beautiful or whatever. I mean, you need more than one activity for that.
Well, let me ask you, Roberto, you guys can get 18 foot golf holes into 9 traditional golf holes, but if you really had to be minimalist about it, what's the minimum amount of acreage that you would need if you just had a tract of land? What's the minimum amount of acreage you think you would need to be able to create an 18-hole foot golf course?
That's a really hard question, and I've had other courses ask me that. A foot golf, I have people who have created their foot golf course on their driving range. So I think that you can do some sort of a 9-hole course on the same space that you could do a driving range.
Wow,
that
yeah.
would be your minimum distance.
So, Scott, do you know what, I think that's like 2 or 3 acres even.
Right.
It's probably 3. Yeah, I'd say 3. Yeah, 3 to 4 acres, maybe 3 to 5 acres. That's really encouraging.
You're talking about a 9-hole for regular play, not a championship course.
You're going to be doing a 9-hole par 3 course, and it's going to be simply up and down.
I see. Okay.
A lot of interest to it, and that's why when people talk about, I've got, we've had soccer complexes call and a developer who's developing soccer complexes and they want to throw a foot golf course in the middle of it. And we say, foot golf is a real sport. It needs the elements that are out there on the golf course.
Absolutely.
Are you in bunkers? Are you going to be putting in water hazards? Or, no, you're not going to be looking at doing that on it. And it needs, people when they're coming to pay for a sport expect a certain standard there.
Mm-hmm.
So, they expect for the cups to be clean. They expect for the greens to be mowed. It's, to me, it has to be done right.
They kind of have it sounds like some people have a concept like a foot golf would be like disc golf, where all you do is just find some open land and throw a basket up there and
cut some holes in the ground and go play.
You've got a foot golf course.
But that's what's so vital about building a brand, and I think you guys are doing such a great job of that, is that you have to figure out a way to mitigate that risk, because you can't completely mitigate it. You have golf course operators, Roberto, like you've been saying, that say, I know what I'm doing. I've been out and I've played, and my 6-year-old plays soccer, and so there's really nothing you can do about those golf course operators. You kind of have to let them go off, and there's a risk there that somebody's going to come to that golf course, and that is the reputation that they're going to, get about foot golf. And so that's, there's a little bit of risk there, but at the same time, you guys are holding up a standard, and building a brand very slowly.
You so got it. The last thing you say. Wow.
Every one of these 450 courses, I can probably say, have talked to me. And that's part of the conversation with them is, yes, you're leery about bringing this in, but you want to bring it in right, because otherwise people are going to come there once, and especially now when there's enough video out there and there's enough courses out there that people have either been to another one or there's another one in their area that they could go to. So they know what a foot golf course should look like, and they've got some expectations now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, these areas, you know, especially here in California and in Florida, that are really getting a following of players that are out there wanting to play league and play tournaments and stuff, they are driving these operators crazy because they know what the appropriate distances should be. On it, they're, you know, that's the other thing I tell the operators is they're going to be every bit as picky as your golfers are in their sports areas.
So of those 450 golf courses, or foot golf courses, sorry, are those 450 affiliates of the AFGL? Meaning, you said you've proudly talked to them, but so they've purchased the cups, and have you guys gone out and created and designed the golf courses on all 450?
They are all ones that are members of the American Footgolf League, and they have had their course laid out in either one of two ways on it. They've done it through our interactive mapping system that connects with our handicap system, or they have done it with us by working back and forth with the superintendent and with the GM and anybody else who's going to be involved in their program, and giving them the yardages and the pars and having the conversation of what makes the perfect foot golf green on it, because that's the important part. Anybody can go out and kick the ball on it, but if they have the distances correct, they're going to make the game interesting on it. Roberto always says, you know what, they can leave that tee box and have to fight through the jungle to get to the green on it, but when they get to that green, it needs to be like they're thinking golf on it. It needs to be, you know, flat on it. It's can have a roll to it, but that's where the game comes down to the skill of the putt on it. So, you know, if they're not doing it with our mapping system on it, they get a lot of guidance and a lot of talking back and forth with us and giving me, I mean, I get hand drawings saying, okay, this is the route we're taking, or they've taken their golf scorecard on it. And we see things, you know, from doing so many that we say, you know what, you need to change this hole because you're not thinking the path that they're going to take to get to the next hole is going to cut them right across your golf green.
Look, driving the sport forward, yeah, internationally speaking, you're not driving a sports car, you're driving a cruise ship. I mean, you know, you're driving an aircraft carrier. It takes time to make turns and make moves and kind of see what happens. So I think something a lot of the listeners would be interested in is, you know, what direction are you pointing the sport, you know, say over the next 12 months? What are some key kind of initiatives that you're really looking forward to seeing play out over the next year or so?
Yeah, internationally, there's two things that the board is really working on, and one is we want to get to the number of members and have all of the requirements met that it takes to be able to apply for the sports accord. So
yeah, I think the International Sports Accord, I think you have, in order to be considered there for membership, you have to have 40 or 41 member nations.
Yeah, and we have 35 now, so we're getting.
Talk to me a little bit about how exciting it is that the World Cup's coming up. It's going to be in Argentina. You know, give us a summary of kind of how excited you guys are about that, and how many nations you have that are going to be represented there. And if you can remember this part, you know, how do people qualify to be a part of the World Cup?
Okay. The first World Cup was played in Budapest, Hungary, June 3rd for 5th, 2012. Was basically financed by the Magyar Footgolf Association of Footgolf Hungary, aka Gabor Gelenser and a partner, that they put all the money for the love of the sport. The same thing that Michael Jansen at the time when he created the first tournament in 2009. I remember the day I talked to Michael Johnson. Then I thought that I spent 30 minutes on the phone with God, because to me is the creator of the sport. And I talked to Michael Johnson, and I think that he spent 100,000 euros to do the tournament and lost $100,000, because something new. The same thing happened to Gabor. 8 nations we went to the World Cup, but basically it's who was able to make it there. We wanted so desperately to be there but we were starting. We just had enough to send one player, and I am also the founder of the Mexican Federation. So I talked to the president of the Mexican Federation, and they help us. Our players share one of the room in the hotel over there in Budapest. We pay for the flight. And Marcelo Landau,
who is the coach?
Who is the coach now for the national team, he went and played over there. Now, this new World Cup, it was a need, because all the players 4 years later, they wanted a World Cup. And every time you talk to somebody, they say, when is the World Cup? When is the next World Cup? And everybody, when is the next World Cup? Then the board decide to do the World Cup, but there are certain conditions to do a World Cup. So many countries wants to do it. Only 4 countries will really apply, and only 1 country decide that they were going to do it no matter what. And they passed, to the next level, and so it was decided that Argentina will do the World Cup. But this is a new sport. There is no sponsorship money like in any other sport. Again, this is in many countries not even a sport. Okay, it's just a game. So when you go and say, and it's going to happen to you, is well, we need a sponsor for my players. Fantastic, you name.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Rolex, Shandon. Oh, no? Okay, well, let's go. Taqueria Maria, the Trattoria or Pizzeria Balestrini, because they say, wait a minute. I mean, you're talking about Heineken. You're talking about a great company that they've been building their brand for years. And now we have Dude Spilling that is a player. Good. I am Nike. Okay. Okay, dude. How many followers do you have on Facebook?
Not enough for Nike.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, so how many millions? Because we have these freelance footballers or whatever. They have 250,000, 27 million, whatever. Okay. So let me see. Are you on TV? How many thousand of people follow you here? We don't have the numbers yet.
Yeah, they want to know how many participants are there going to be watching.
You know how many millions will be watching your tournament?
Yeah, we have the same problem.
We run into the same issue. They want to see that they want to see the traction. They want to see the hockey stick.
So then you don't have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Then you don't have a sponsor. Okay, and they say, you know what? Look, the concept is great, blah blah blah. And then, what's your uniform? You guys have a uniform? No, you don't.
No, in Speedgolf we don't have a uniform.
Hey, and you need it because okay. So I remember once, and this was I remember a good friend of mine now, Federico Lemmenmeyer, which is one of the director of Heineken. He asked me in 2012, he said, Roberto, what's the uniform? Because in the few countries that we were playing, not everybody respect the uniform. So you went online. Well, we basically, we have, but we don't have a uniform. Okay. And I was the first one, the most hated person in the football world, because I was pushing and making a big deal because I want people to wear the socks all the way up to the knee. Okay. Knee-high socks, because that's part of the uniform. Mm-hmm. That's what identifies us. If you see a guy who's do speed golf in a golf course, okay, is a golfer, is a runner, is what? Now, if you see a guy with Argyle sock and the flat cap and looking so cute, etc., just kidding. It's a foot golfer. Okay, so we have, but we got that now. But on 2011, we didn't have that. And then they say, what is the best player in the world? And I say, well, we don't have one. So say, okay, show me the rules. Well,
we don't have any.
Yeah, they are all on my head.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have rules. You don't have because I was trying to raise money to go to the World Cup in Hungary. Okay, how many countries? 8. One of them was Greece. Actually, were 2 guys from Greece. Okay, so how do you think that a company like Heineken or Coca-Cola or even Pizzeria Balestrini, been in your neighborhood for 35 years, will give you the logo for dude spelling that for a sport that they don't have a uniform, they don't have rules, they don't have the best player in the world, That happened to us.
Absolutely.
On the first World Cup. Now, on the second World Cup, it's a little different. It's way better. It's way more involvement. But at the same time, you have 30 countries giving their honest and sincere opinion about how to do it, but there is no money there. So now taking 16 players plus the coach to Argentina is costing the American Footgolf League an average of $2,500 to $2,700 minimum each one.
And do you ask them to raise the money to go?
No, we are paying for it. The American Football League is paying for it, and each player is paying $500.
How did you guys come up with? How did you come up with the number 16 in terms of the number of AFGL participants that can participate in the World Cup?
Oh, that's the magic number. No.
We as the board, because there's some countries
that was the limit,
like Argentina, that has so many players,
good
players, that we felt that it had to be at least they could have 4 foursomes there.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Argentina, your wife is from Argentina, eh, dude?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Argentina, we eat meat 6 times a week because we have more cows than people. But now Argentina has more foot golfers than cows, okay? And now they have that's a way to say that they have a lot of foot golf. So there was a limit. But some countries, Spain, I think only 1 player is going.
Actually, though, you'll see more than Argentina as being the host country got an additional
8 players. Yeah, they're going to be 24. But Spain has 1 player. Some other country they are sending 2 players. I think the Australia is
New
sending 5.
countries could only send 4 if they join this year.
So, but the thing is, it's gonna be around between 220 to 250 players.
And is it an individual format, or do you also have team formats, or how does that play out?
Both.
That's great. So, do you guys? So, for this year's World Cup, do you have any major sponsors that are on board? Is that beginning to happen?
Yes, we have the major sponsor is Adidas or Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a second sponsor that we are about to sign a contract. So that's the 2 sponsors that we are going with. But the main sponsor will be Adidas. What I would like to say is this year, because it is a special year, we will do in the United States only 1 international tournament. It's a special year because of the World Cup.
Yes.
In soccer, when the year you have the World Cup, basically you don't have any other international competitions at that level. So for the past, I want to tell you something, guys, from the hard work that we have done with the American Footgolf League, we were able to organize 6 Pro-Am tournaments with more than 270 players from 18 different countries. Somebody told me $93,000. No, we pay $97,500 in cash purse.
Wow.
Those players between September 2014 to August 2015. Okay, all that money was not covered by the registration fee of the players, and the sponsorship money was minimum. So was the money that the American Football League had for the selling equipment and some money for the registration for the players. Not in a single tournament the American Football League made profit. Not in a single one.
Yeah, I mean, all of your revenue, you're just reinvesting right back into the sport.
Absolutely. So, but in 2016, we're gonna play the World Cup. Then we're gonna be at the PGA Merchandise Show. We're gonna be at the Golf Industry Show. We're gonna be at the NGCOA annual conference. We're gonna launch the national championship state by state. So we're going to have a state championship and a national ranking. And in September 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we want to play at Reunion Resort the U.S. Pro-Am Football Tour with $25,000, 54 holes. At the Reunion Resort, we will have, you can go over there, it's in Disney World, of 6 minutes from Disney World. You can, with the Footgolf package, you will have either a room, and you can rent a room, an apartment, a condo, a village. People that travel from South America or Europe, that we have a lot, they won't have to take 2 planes, just 1 flight, boom, to Miami or to Orlando, and that's it. And then on November, probably between the 15th and the 13th of November, we want to pick 2 or 3 days to play the final of the national championships here in our home course, which is a Desert Willow Golf Resort. And on 2017, we will launch the line of Footgolf of the AFGL, and we're going to launch the Professional Footgolf League.
Wow, guys. Congratulations. That
is really cool.
That's really, really exciting.
Yeah. The Professional Football League, we are looking for $250,000 in cash purse, and we're going to do it for at least for 3 months or 12 weeks, and we're going to get the best players in the world.
For listeners out there that are that are interested in getting more involved in the sport, maybe they want to play it for the first time, what are the first couple steps that they can take to get out there and give it a try?
Well, the first thing that they need to do is to go to our website, afgl.us. If they will click on the link that says courses, a text box will pop up, and if they enter their address, it's going to give them the 5 closest courses to them. So we've got 450 courses around the country for them to go out and play at, and they just need to grab a soccer ball, or they can rent one at the course and give it a try. Grab their friends, and I guarantee they're going to have fun.
Well, you guys have been great. Roberto, Laura, thank you so much for your time. And we do look forward to staying in touch with you guys and keeping abreast of y'all's progress. Congratulations on all of the hard work, on being just fantastic pioneers, great examples. And I think that, you guys have just an amazing template of, and a great track record. And it's something that we can be inspired by. And look up to
sure.
as a really, really fantastic way to grow a sport that really is a combination of 2 different sports. Speed golf is a lot like the biathlon in the Winter Olympics, where they have to do the cross country skiing and then get off their skis and go shoot the rifles. And
I see a few things. I see a brilliant. When I say brilliant future for speed golf.
You guys truly are an inspiration to the world of golf out there that's changing and evolving in the 21st century. And I think you're bringing something fresh and new and exciting to the game of golf. So congratulations to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, and let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thanks again, guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, episode 4 in the books. Hey, for those of us who want to see golf stay relevant in the quickening pace of modern day life, I hope you're inspired by what Laura and Roberto are achieving. The greatest way we can support their efforts is by going out and playing foot golf. It is so much fun. You're going to love it. You can also support the American Footgolf League by following them on Facebook /FootgolfUSA and Twitter @FootgolfUSA, and be sure to visit their website for more information at AFGL.us. They also have a YouTube channel, same name, Footgolf USA. Thank you so much for tuning into the Pace of Change Golf podcast, where we're broadcasting the evolution of golf in the 21st century. You can support our efforts by following us on Facebook and Twitter. Visit our website for more information, paceofchange.com. While you're there, you can listen to previous episodes, look through the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter to stay up to speed on the latest Pace of Change podcast news, announcements, and updates. Please subscribe to either our YouTube channel, or if you're listening on iTunes, you can really help us out by leaving a review and subscribing there as well. So every action you take above, it makes a bigger difference than you can imagine. So thank you for taking the time to do that. How else can we serve you, the listener? What would you like to hear? Who in the world of golf would you like us to interview? Leave your comments on social media and know that we value your feedback. All right, until next time, pick up the pace, and we'll see you in 2016. Ole, 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 ole. Footgolf, footgolf.